Hi everyone, Bernard here. Hope you're all staying safe and well, and welcome to the Film and TV channel. We have a Netflix film today. Yeah, it's been around for a long time and talked about for a long time, and Netflix picked this up a couple of years ago. So we're going to have a look at a film called Army of the Dead. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe on. Push the bell notifications. I do little film reviews, drama reviews, information vlogs, what's out to buy DVD, what's on at the cinema, etc, etc. So if you enjoy what I try and do, I try and inform, entertain, give information on all these films, not just my thoughts but other people's thoughts as well, to give a bit of a cross section of what's going on with these films or TV dramas. So please push that notification button if you enjoy it. And you'll also see some stuff on the playlist for my football team, Manchester City. If that's of any interest, please check that out. Or if you know somebody who might be interested, point them in my direction. I'll be very grateful. But today we're looking at films and TV, and we're looking at, well, a bit of both really. Netflix classed as TV, yeah, probably. So we're talking Army of the Dead. So if you've any little comments to make, please do so if you've watched this already or you plan on watching it. And if you do enjoy film stuff, TV stuff, check out my Facebook and Twitter as well. There's links on screen. I do try and check every 2 or 3 days and follow and friend everyone back, and post loads of stuff on there as well. And if you haven't got time for a comment today, give us a little thumbs up. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Right, Army of the Dead, an 18 certificate, 2 hours 28 minutes. All right, so you can probably knock 10 minutes off for credits, etc. But quite long, a bit of an epic, isn't it, this one? It's classed as an action, science fiction, thriller, horror, crime. You can put the word zombie in. I think that just about sums it up, really, doesn't it? It's a zombie heist film, basically, directed by, of course, Zack Snyder, with the screenplay by Snyder, Shay Hatton and Joby Harold, based on Snyder's screen story. Yeah, it has a big cast. You've got Dave Bautista as the main guy in this, Ella Purnell, Amari Hardwick, Anna de la Reguera, Theo Rossi, Matthias Schweighofer, Nora, please pardon my pronunciations, Nora Arna Zeda, Hiroki Sanada, Tig Notaro, Ral Castillo, Huma Kuresha and Garrett Dillahunt. There, that's a nice simple one to finish off. Yeah, it was actually announced back in 2007, around then, this thing, but obviously spent sort of a long time in development hell, really, mainly at Warner Brothers. And it was eventually Netflix who bought the rights to it in 2019, so obviously breathed life into this zombie flick, obviously. What's it about? Well, it's a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas. Yeah, obviously the start of the film shows how that happened. And then you get a group of mercenaries take part in this, where it's a bit like the Magnificent Seven, where they're going around collecting these guys, and they try and take the ultimate gamble by venturing into this quarantine zone. It's been literally walled off by container trucks all the way around Vegas. Very modern way of doing it, very quick way of doing it. Obviously this little team going to try and pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. Is it any good? Well, Rotten Tomatoes, 71% of the 173 critics' reviews and scores are positive, so that's good. And it does get an average rating of just over that watchable score of 6 out of 10, so it gets 6.2 out of 10, so that's not too bad. 122 fresh and 51 rotten reviews. The website's consensus says, an ambitious, over-the-top zombie heist mashup, Army of the Dead brings Zack Snyder back to his genre roots with a suitably gory splash. If you liked his remake of Dawn of the Dead 17 years ago, a lot of people like that but didn't particularly like this, so that gives you an idea, but there you go. Audience on Rotten Tomatoes are talking a 78% positivity rating from the audience, which is pretty good. Metacritic, the other site we'll look at, assigned a weighted average score of 57 out of 100. That's based on 41 critics' scores and reviews. That's 18 positive, 22 mixed and just 1 negative, so not a total disaster. And it scores anywhere between 4 out of 10 and 8 out of 10. The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw, he only gave it 4 out of 10 and said it's all just one monumental splatterfest where the zombies Army of the Dead face off against people who aren't very alive, and all basically without jokes. Yeah, I think that's probably sums up my little feelings, to be honest with you. Empire's John Nugent, he liked it a little bit more. He gave it 6 out of 10. And he said the Army's at his best when Snyder leans into the fun, allows himself moments of pure silliness. When he aims for more emotional territory, like the rather trite guilt to redemption arc between Scott and his estranged daughter, played capably by Ella Purnell, we start to feel the weight of that running time. Yeah, that was a positive review, but obviously a little bit of a sort of caveat emptor there, wasn't there? The Hollywood Reporter, David Rooney, he gave it 8 out of 10, so he did like it. He went on to say, there's no shortage of excitement, suspense, jokey camaraderie, sorrowful losses, satisfying comeuppances, twists and turns to fill the generous running time with plenty of variation in the bloody encounters. So there you go. And the Metacritic audience, yeah, 6.1 out of 10. So there tends to be a little bit of a theme with this, doesn't it, score-wise? Internet Movie Database, where we always go, Joe Public, you, me, the normal viewer who watches this, yeah, it's getting a 6.3 out of 10. So again, just over the watchable. 20,524 reviews and scores. That's based as I'm recording this. And of that 20,000, 20,500, 14,552 scored it 6 or more. So we'll give it a 6 out of 10 or more score. That's 71%. So again, not bad. A bit of positivity. Right, my little thoughts on this. I mean, as I said, it does open by sort of explaining what happened. Now, there's I mean, it just tells you obviously how this apocalypse started, this zombie apocalypse, and how they picked on Vegas, how it happened there. So you do get to see that at the start, and then you get some quite excellent opening credits. Unfortunately, the film doesn't quite live up to the opening credits, and they really appealed to me. There's a bit of humour in them. It's a long film, obviously, but it didn't sort of build up on this light-heartedness of the opening credits, which shows you some of the characters involved and what happened, obviously, when they were trying to escape from Vegas and it got all walled off with these containers. But yeah, it doesn't quite build on it, unfortunately, and it made the film a bit more of a letdown for me, because I did think the sort of quirkiness and the humour in this 3-4 minute segment or something like that would carry on, and it probably didn't in the film. So the rest of the 2 hours 15 minutes or so after that opening credits was just a little bit of a letdown for me. The ragtag team of humans are about as interesting, in all fairness, as most of the zombies. I couldn't really invest in many of these characters, to be honest with you. There's one or two perhaps got the comeuppance, which I was quite happy about. But I think the whole point about zombie features, I mean, I'm a big fan of things like The Walking Dead and Resident Evil and 28 Days Later. I love a good zombie film. Is that you should at least care about the people in it to actually hope that they survive. But in fairness, I couldn't really be that bothered with the characters in this. So at least we need a bit of an interesting story to keep us entertained. So I was hoping for a bit of a cross between Escape from New York, which obviously had that feel to it, didn't it? Going into a sort of a place where they're obviously going to struggle to get back out of it, and World War Z, so Z or Z, I'm English, so it's World War Z or World War C. And it probably, what we did get was a little bit disappointing, because I was expecting something like that. It does feel very B-movie-ish. I think it had about an $80 million budget, but as I said, it does feel very, very B-movie-ish in acting and sort of the setups and the storyline. But obviously, it does have a big budget style. There's certainly nothing wrong with the budget. You can see where some of the money's gone. On the positives, I've got to be positive on it, because I'm not having a total downer on this. I subscribe to Netflix, so these things are free, aren't they? I know they're not free because I'm still paying for Netflix, but there's not many movies on that Netflix platform that really impress. So on that basis, this isn't that bad if you've got Netflix anyway. I mean, I wouldn't say to you, oh, just get Netflix just to watch this, but yeah, if on that basis, I was quite happy, because as I say, I am used to watching some good series on Netflix, but good films are few and far between. So I was sort of class it as almost a good film. So that is a positive in my opinion, that at least it was something to watch on Netflix, that was a film that wasn't dubbed from another language or whatever. It's not bad as a fast action shoot the zombies up. Of course it's not. There's a bit of jeopardy towards the end as time begins to run out. And yes, you do sort of want a couple by then, a couple of the characters to survive by then, but obviously it's only a couple, there's not many of them. So as I said, it does actually, to me, it did improve as it sort of got to near the end, because obviously, as I said, there was a bit of a time constraint and things had to be done. So, yeah, I sort of enjoyed perhaps the last final third more than perhaps the previous 2/3 of the film. The 2.5 hours does go quite fast, actually. I've never really bored watching it. There's lots of action, lots of things to look at, lots of scenery, lots of creatures and zombies, etc. But no real humour, unfortunately. There's not a lot of humour. As I said, I was expecting a little bit more humour throughout this. It wasn't that much. There's the odd moment, but it wasn't particularly funny, so it didn't really work. So yeah, it won't live long in the memory for me. I probably won't ever go back and watch it again, which I do with some of these films. I watch them over again. But for now, which it was well, sort of now, if you got a subscription to Netflix, it was okay. It was okay. I'm not going to quibble. If I'd gone to the cinema and paid 10 or 15 quid to watch this, then I perhaps wouldn't be as impressed. I probably would have given it a lower score. But on that basis that it's a Netflix film, on that basis that I get Netflix, so it's nice to watch something like this, and it's a good shoot 'em up with the odd good bit of CGI, etc, etc. But although it was a little bit disappointing overall, I've got to give it a 6 out of 10. I've got to say it's watchable, because obviously it is just about watchable as long as you turn your brain off. And say that I wouldn't have minded a bit more. There's a hint at things to come. I think there's some animated sequels been made of this into a series, I believe, just reading various bits and pieces, and so there was sort of hints, a couple of hints at something like that in the actual film itself. It's a shame it didn't expand on it a little bit more in this film, but it hinted at things, which so all we basically got was a shoot 'em up, obviously a shoot the zombies up sort of film. But it's, as you said, for now, which is what I'm classing it as, for nothing, it's okay. So I'll give it that 6 out of 10 anyway. Let me know what you think. As I say, it's on the zombie films I do like. It's well down the list, to be honest with you. I'd rather go back and watch World War Z again, or obviously I'd probably go and watch Walking Dead from the very first episode again before I'd go back and watch this. But there you go. Or any other, most any other of the decent budget zombie films anyway. This is probably pretty low down. Resident Evil, yeah, I like the Resident Evil. I'd probably go back and watch all them, to be honest with you, because obviously a couple of those, even though they weren't very good, were just as good as this, if not slightly better. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Whatever you're going to do with this day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again on the Film and TV channel, or perhaps you have a flick across, have a look at my Citizen channel, my football channel. Whatever it is, all I ever ask you to do is stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.